Welcome to the Breakfast Leadership Show, where we interview global thought leaders on business, leadership, and life. Here's your host, keynote speaker, best-selling author, and chief burnout officer of the Breakfast Leadership Network, Michael Levitt.
Welcome back. I've got Jared Mitchell on the line. Jared, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Michael?
I am awesome today. I'm really looking forward to this conversation. You do some amazing and diverse work. So why don't you share a little bit about you and all the great work you do?
Thanks. Yeah. I guess kind of what makes me unique is I have experience on several sides of the coin, as they tell me. For years, I've been the e-commerce lead consultant for Neil Patel, who many people know just from him being kind of like a digital marketing celebrity. So that obviously gives me a lot of crazy and cool experience. And in addition to that, for over 17 years, my wife and I have owned businesses in the skincare realm. So one business is a skincare retailer of over 300 brands of boutique day spa type of skincare lines. About 5 or so years ago, we decided to start our own brand under her name, which is Alana Mitchell Skincare, and that's going well. And then in addition to that, I also started my own online learning platform under my nickname from college, so BeefySites. And so kind of what's unique there is just experience on the brand, retailer, and agency and consulting side, which is something that's kind of hard to find.
Well, definitely having all of those different experiences. But I'm guessing you probably find that you use a lot of the same resources and everything that you do because there's just a commonality. And a lot of people don't see that, especially if they don't work in a variety of different fields or they don't have a lot of different experience with different organizations. But I've found in my career that all the places that I've worked, I use all the skills that I've picked up along the way. So, and you don't even have to think about it. It's kind of an autopilot kind of thing because if you've done it long enough, and obviously, in the case of the skincare line, launch a new business of your own on top of the work that you've done for almost 2 decades on it. There's lessons you've picked up along the way, and of course, working with Neil and dealing with all the stuff that his team is involved in, and with SEO and keeping up to date in all of those things. Now, anytime I see his email, I'm just going to think, oh, that's actually Jared telling us that. we won't tell him that, or maybe I'll tag him and say, hey, I'm giving Jared all your cred. But no. Yeah, I know he's a cool dude. But ultimately, it boils down to just using all these skills and once you're, I don't like using the phrase serial entrepreneur. I like to just, a lifelong entrepreneur. You're looking for different opportunities and things come up and you take the leap and you do it. So, share a little bit about that. What drove you to, and your wife to, launch a new business when you've had one that was, going so well for so long?
Yeah, that's a great question, Michael. And so many of the businesses that I do consulting for have what I call a golden carrot syndrome. It's like the old cartoons where they dangle the carrot in front of the bunny so that it run faster, or the horse, or whatever it was. Anyways, I consult these businesses and they've had extreme success with one genre or sector. And so their immediate gut check is to start the next business, and it's unrelated. And the biggest problem that I have with it is they might be using the same marketing funnel strategy or ad strategy, but their original business isn't even fully built out yet. Here's my cat. And so, I get in there and I'm like, hey guys, why are you even doing this? You're pulling away from your original business, which is really a hit. And you're sort of diluting your success into another business. So what Elaine and I decided to do is, I'm not a huge fan of starting and managing multiple businesses, which is exactly where I'm at. But allow me to explain. Obviously, as a skincare retailer for over 17 years, my wife gained popularity and authority in the industry And so it made sense from that perspective alone to start our own brand. It was going to sell because people like to ask her what to buy and what to use. And we already knew the gaps in the market from selling the most popular lines for over 17 years. So that was a shoo-in. But on top of that, as a retailer, I'm always looking at how to decrease discounts and how to increase margins. Because if you can discount as a retailer, it's going to be the easiest way to get a sale. Okay. It may not be the best customer, but you are going to get the sale. So instead of a discount, we decided to offer our own product, which cost me, $3? So on a $100 order, they might use a 20% off code, or they might use that code instead of getting the 20% off to buy my product, which cost me $3, which they have a perceived value of $40 or above, right? So everybody wins. So that was sort of the original strategy around our product line. Hey, we're going to sell it because you're an influencer, but also this is going to help decrease margin on our retailer platform. So, it's a little complicated, but they do work hand in hand. And that is the point.
That's amazing. And also, again, definitely with brand recognition, if your name is out there and you're known in your particular industry, and I love what you said about because you'd worked in the industry for so long, you saw the gaps. You're like, that's something we could fill. But no one's filling that situation. That's obviously a problem because people are asking for it and it doesn't exist. Like, well, let's make it exist. Guess what? There's a lot of people that want it. A lot of people are going to buy it, and we're going to make it. And needless to say, it's making your money create more money, and or currency units, whatever you want to call it. Ultimately, at the end of the day, you didn't rest in your business. And one of the things I see a lot of business owners do, especially when they get some success, they go, okay, it's good. All right, let's pop it into neutral and just kind of coast for a little bit, which if that's what you want and the time is right for that, I'm not going to judge or say you shouldn't do that. But again, with this ever-changing and faster-paced world that we find ourselves in with products and services and deliverables and the latest, greatest of everything, you can miss things if you rest too much. And I've seen a lot of organizations, unfortunately, rest too long and they get passed by.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, that's the other reason why we started the brand is because as a retailer, Amazon blew up and started eating our market share. And we thought, gosh, I don't think the retail sector for us is going away because we're really good at it. And it continues to grow like a weed, especially post-COVID. But we did want to take some ownership of our brand. And to us, that meant starting our own skincare brand and doing it right. And our first product was simply, we took our most popular item that we'd sold from a brand of over 17 years, and we asked customers what was wrong with it. And it turned out they wanted a foaming version of this product, which the brand was not making and didn't have plans to make. So we made our own foaming pumpkin facial cleanser, which is probably has knockoffs now, but at the time was the first in the world. And it was a hit, right? And so from there, people obviously over the years have been asking us, how'd you do what you did with building e-commerce platforms and scaling them and working for Neil? And that's when I started BeefySites. And the funniest thing is people think it's like this full separate business, but really most of my clients are in the skincare and beauty industry. So even that business is positioned to bring in and sort of monetize these leads from these people who are asking us for advice.
And that's a great way to leverage your client base because you're thinking, all right, websites and SEO and making sure that people that when they put content out there on their site, whatever it happens to be, the people will actually see it, be able to find it, yeah. and not in a, well, we'll do this $8 billion of Facebook or Google ads. No, you don't have to do that. If you are tying into what people are looking for and find those needs, you'll be able to get your site beefy, pardon the pun there, but it's a great name. It's a great name. I saw that and I'm like, Oh, that's good. I like
Thank you. Everyone makes fun of me. I said, it's my college nickname. Don't make fun of me.
No, but I mean, it's your nickname. That's fine. But as far as, the next level of utilization of that name, you see it and automatically you start getting ideas. It's like, okay, this is a website that's going to have some meat to it. That's going to actually just be, one place where people can go because, okay, yeah, we go to the late 90s, early 2000s. We know websites weren't the greatest, and I'm still ticked that they finally got rid of the Space Jam website and they updated it with the new movie. I always like looking back and like, oh yeah, I remember when websites looked like that back in the Michael Jordan version. Nothing against LeBron, but I wish they would have said, here's a different one. But instead of killing that old one, maybe they got it hidden somewhere. Who knows? But ultimately, your customers that you had in this other business, you say, you know what, I've got this new venture that can help you establish or grow your e-commerce brand. And of course, during this pandemic, kind of needed for a lot of businesses because we weren't necessarily allowed to go in some of these places, the brick and mortars for a while, or at least it was heavily restricted. So it's created an opportunity for your clients, I'm sure. And then also it gives them the best of both worlds. Where it's like, yeah, I want to maintain my brick and mortar because I get a good following and I've got a great customer base. But now I've expanded it to a completely different market that I wouldn't normally have been able to reach.
Yeah, and people think we're so crazy for investing so much right now in our retail business. Our competitor is Amazon. But since we're able to move such volume and offer a good amount of customer service, like people need to call us, they can call us and someone will pick up, like old school, like not someone overseas, like us. Basically we started offering same day shipping for, I think our 20 most popular SKUs. And we have a big 80-20, like any business that's in e-commerce. And so far it's a hit. And so I am a little bit shocked that as a smaller retailer, we're actually able to compete and sometimes beat Amazon because right now they're so backed up.
Well, and I think there's an element of obviously, how giant Amazon is and, they sell everything. Okay. And, but a lot of people, I think initially that, okay, this is great. They're working, they can ship this stuff, but there's something to be said about supporting local or small businesses because that's what makes our country. Yes, there's the big companies, but those big companies can pick up and leave and close a warehouse and all of that, where a small business or mid-size, whatever you want to define it as, they're not going to just up and move. If anything, they're going to expand because of growth and all of that. And that has such a positive, direct impact on a community, much faster than a big monolith type of business. Not saying that they don't impact communities, but I find that the local businesses really impact the growth. And I think that's where I think a lot of people, especially in what I've been talking to over the last couple of years, there's been a renewed focus on, I want to support local whenever I can and small businesses. And because they're a small business, it's like, well, that's good. Yeah, you should support each other because it'll make a big difference in the growth of your community, which just makes your place a better place for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
So of all the things that you've done and all the things you're doing, I guess, do you have a favorite? It's kind of like asking, do you have a favorite kid? Well, you should never answer that question because the other kid's listening. So, but it's like, is there, something, that you're really proud of and all the things that you've done over these last, couple of decades that really jump out at you going, wow, I'm really, really pleased how that turned out.
One thing I feel I've gotten to work with and help become absolute monolith that he has become. To me, that's a huge accomplishment because he's like so big and so well known now. When I first started working for him, he was also popular, but it was nothing like it is today. Like one time we were hanging out and walking down the street and he got like recognized. You're Neil Patel. He's like, yeah. And like even he like for a long time was having trouble I guess coming to the realization of like how popular he was, because if you meet him, he's not like that at all. He's like the nicest guy and he doesn't care about any of that stuff. He just loves digital marketing and, he's a little bit nerdy about it and he's just good and very, very smart. And so I just think back and I can't even believe that he hired me. And I'm just pleased that I got to have like a small portion, in his success. I think that was really cool. But, if you had to ask me about my own businesses, I think the biggest accomplishment for me is just the time and flexibility that they give my wife and I to live the lives that we want to live and be around for our kids.
That's the secret sauce, at least in my opinion. Yes, you can have the success, you can have the Lambos and the condos and all that, and there's nothing wrong with all that stuff. It's goals for a lot of people to attain, but the freedom to be able to do what you want, where you want, and when you want is priceless. It's the flexibility to say, you know what, let's go this. Just earlier today, I signed an agreement. I'm doing a keynote talk in March, and my better half and I, we're going to build a vacation around that because it's an area that she's never visited before. So it's like, you know what? Normally I go in, speak, drink the bad coffee at the conference center and the stale croissants, and then hang out for a bit and then head back home. But it's like, no, we'll build a vacation around it. So there'll be really comfy clothes and vacation clothes and then a suit, and it'll be fine. But but again, it's the flexibility to be able to do that. It's like, we'll just take that week or two and just kind of make fun of it and just do whatever we want and not really have a big agenda. But the freedom to say, you know what, let's go to the zoo today. All right, let's go here. Okay, we just do it, and it's that the freedom to be able to set your own schedule and do things the way you want to is worth more than every dollar that I've ever earned. It's something special for sure. And I can sense it's the same for you.
Yeah, it's funny because people ask me, was that a vacation or was that business? And I just think it's the funniest question because it's always both for us. Like, like we can run our companies from our phones if we need to. And if we get called to like speak or if we need to go to a trade show or whatever, like you always kind of like, okay, let's bring the kids, or maybe we'll make it just you and I this time and let's build out a little vacation around it. It becomes a lot of fun.
Absolutely. So Jared, I've loved this conversation. Where can people find out more about you and all this amazing work you do?
Yeah, thanks. Pleasure to be here. One of the reasons I picked the name is because if you pretty much type it in any search engine, I come up because I'm the only one. So BeefySites, just type it in anywhere. I don't do a lot of TikTok though. I haven't really gotten into that. So
well, I'll definitely have that in the show notes. I have a TikTok account. I did a couple things and I haven't done anything since other than watch some videos that my better half, she sends me stuff all the time and I giggle and laugh and all of that. Mine, I'm like, no, I don't know if I'll get to that, but maybe I will. We'll see. It could be a bucket list item for me. So awesome, Jared. Thank you again for your time today. Really appreciate you and continued success and all this great work you're doing.
Thanks so much, Michael. Nice to meet you.
Thanks for listening to the Breakfast Leadership Show, part of the Breakfast Leadership Network. Visit breakfastleadership.com for tips on empowering your business and your life.